making sure that that project gets off the ground and do what Rowley and they had, of course, claimed that they would do. But, of course, their deafening silence tell us that the entire thing has collapsed. Courtesy, of course, Rowley, another disaster that is, of course, stereotypical of the Rowley administration. Minister, though on school being operated. We have a call. If you have a call, go ahead, my friend. If not, of course, the Minister of Education is claiming that there's no unsafe school being operated. Well, of course, the question was asked about a particular school that extended, of course, to all the schools in the country, and is typical of administration unless they are proven palpably wrong. They will continue, of course, to defend the.
Lennox Smith, you have a call there. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, morning. I hear the opposition leader making a statement to send back all illegal immigrants. Like if she's in office, and then she make another statement to raise the smoking of weed to the age 25. This woman gone from drinking rum to smoking weed now? Over to you, Santa Cruz, the Chihuahua from Santa Cruz. Thank you, Andy.
Right, and at the end of the day, just now, let me think that notion, because again, the notion of some of you all, really and truly, and I support the opposition leader 100%. Right, let me just make sure putting Lennox Smith here in the fold here. Right, right, it's on there. Right, going into the news, the Guardian papers, today's Guardian. Right, let me go into today's Guardian. And so in that way, you all will understand the difference, and she's fully supported.
Andy.
Oh, you still there? All right. No, you don't say already. All right. Bye. You don't say. I understand you say. You don't say, and I don't agree with you say where you say. Right? One, I was in the meeting. Lennox Smith was in the meeting. Okay? Nice. Let me get this thing ball rolling now, man. It had a break in current Trinidad and Tobago when main suits to the other side. Current left on this side for about 5 minutes and come back. Okay? Have no generator and all those various things. Right. Like for instance, let me just go through here. The Guardian, 7 cops charged again. Open case against lawmen accused of misbehavior in public office. Right. That is one. Wait, let me continue going down. Because we had to meet with the statements that Kamala Prasad Bisesa made. Right. The murder toll in the PNM papers is a 557. But that is wrong. With DG them, it's more than that. So let us send what's really the murder toll in Trinidad and Tobago from me, please. Right. Now we continue. Kamala rejects salary increase for politicians. Call for judges to benefit. I support that 100%. 100% I support that. Give the salary increase, and the opposition leader make it clear, so the PNM can't play the common and playing the want to be only woman. And she is right. Full support. Let me give our hats off to Fali. Anyhow, I will go through this in a little bit. I want to make sure everybody's back on before I go through all of this, including any papers here where opposition leader warns migrants who commits crime, behave or go back home. What she say wrong? What did she say wrong? Mentioning raising the age of marijuana to 25 years and gambling to 25 years and up. What did she say wrong? What did she? I will come back and deal with that when the live build back up, because we're not on Gael yet. I will deal with all of that with the time of Gael too. Right, so despite of that, I will hold now for now, and that will be cleared. That aspect will be cleared in a little bit when this thing build back up, while people find us back. Oh boy, it's building back up really fast.
Go ahead, Lennox. I've already done that in my monitoring, so I will advise those who are on and know of persons who would have been on, but you have some kind of communication with them to, of course, tell them that we are back up and running.
Yes, well, go ahead, Lennox Smith.
Yeah. Well, I can't miss, of course, the last caller's suggestion that somehow somebody drinking rum, and but it sounds as though that he would have had a hangover, because I never heard Kamala said she would at this time, except to say that when the UNC gets into government, that will be, of course, one of the things that they will consider. And I would have expected that a sensible government, even though Kamala Prasad Bisesa is not in office at this point in time, to, of course, take on board that very valid suggestion, and that is that to raise the use of marijuana to the age of 25. That is very valid. The source is irrelevant, and that is to say who said it first or who made this suggestion, but it is a valid one. All over the place, right here on George Street, you see in every little corner, depending on the situation. If there's a little party or a little get together, you see them, of course, in little corners and so on. And I'm sure that I'm seeing young persons, age 16, 17, and so on, pulling their legally authorized stick of cannabis, the marijuana, and so much so, even when I go on a Friday now at Pagos, to see some of them are so emboldened that they will come into the dance hall, so to speak, and into the establishment smoking, and they will have to remind them that, of course, there's a smoking rule that says that you cannot smoke or emit the result of smoking in public or in public spaces, in public spaces where people gather. So it is a valid one, and it is something that we must look at. And there's a school of thought, frankly, that speaks of the fact that I think Kamala Prasad Bisesa might have reiterated that, and that is, of course, you're not focusing on their laptops and their education, and of course making it easier for those young people to do well in school, but you would provide them, of course, with things like these days they have something called Juve. That is what, of course, the police objected to some time ago, when, of course, they wanted to get a license on the B-thumb. Well, I know of it because there was one, of course, right around here on George Nelson Street, etc. So that's a growing trend, and that will facilitate or provide the opportunity for younger person, very young people, to engage in this.
Morning, caller. Where are you calling from?
Of this narcotic, I should say, which, of course, would affect scientifically. It has been proven will affect, of course, the people's minds, especially the younger ones who are very vulnerable. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, Lennox, as I say just now, you said on George Street, you're seeing the 15, the 16, and the 17 years old smoking. At that age, smoking marijuana is illegal. It is 18 years and over, not 16. So what they said is, they said it was legal. It is 16, 18 years and over to smoke.
Right.
If they were to ban,
for that, but it doesn't take away the fact that 18 years, well, Kamala said 25. And of course, I suppose there is a reason for that. But thanks for, of course, the specificity. But the fact is that 16 years,
if she went to move it to 25,
18, I suppose.
If you want to move it to 25, then make alcohol to 25. Leave alcohol at 18, make it 25 as well.
Well, that's an argument, because of course we can say the same thing about cigarettes, etc. So let's not make it a technical issue, right? Because of course there's commerce and all these other issues and people of influence that would determine whether or not all should go to 25.
All right, gentlemen.
I hear you, my friend. Yeah, thank you very much, of course, for that intervention. another call?
Yes, it have a lot of calls, a lot of voice notes.
Let's go. I mean, a short break should not interfere with the flow.
Go ahead, caller.
Good morning.
Oh shucks, I don't back up that caller. Oh shucks, I don't get back up the Bluetooth. Oh shucks, it have plenty calls coming on it and I did not hook it back up yet because when everything cut. So let me just get back that Bluetooth up and running. For the WhatsApp calls, for all WhatsApp calls or direct calls to 366-3053. Right, so let me get it. Don't call yet until I get it up and running again. Nice. Let me see. Connect. Right. Oh boy. Now with the connection, let me make sure we have the connection. Very good. Now all voice notes could play and all calls coming to 366-3053 can be played. So you all go ahead. All you can make your all calls now. Let me give you all the numbers. The numbers to call 225-6644, 225-6644, or 239-5120, 239-5120, or give us a WhatsApp call at 366-3053, 366-3053. The lines are open, Trinidad and Tobago. But meanwhile, I'm waiting for calls. Let me just play some voice notes here. Quick. Oh boy.
Morning, God, my fourth morning, trying to Tobago. Mikey, Rowley, don't shut him out. I wash his mouth with soap. He don't have nothing good to say to the citizens, and he always bad talking Kamala. Why he don't look at himself and see the role that he playing? That this whole country is in crime. The value, that look at what's going on in this country, and he have nothing good to say. He should be decline also the SRC salary increase for the Prime Minister and his ministers. Try and solve all the uprising wage negotiation for UE students, workers, which put all that money he going to get, right? 2, the people who deserve it, like the UE students, the nurses, the teachers, the police officers, right? People who work in the grocery, increase the minimum wage to $25. Put that money that he getting, he don't deserve it. And when we done, we have to pay to mine he don't deserve nothing from citizens. And Kamala Postad, the sister, is right on all her choice making and all her decision, right? She have the citizens' heart and interest. This man don't care about us. And time for he to step down. Oh God, Keith Rowley, go and wash him out with soap now. I'm smelling it quite across here. Thank you guys. Have a nice day. Morning, caller from library. Me again. Sorry. I know see a topic about the marijuana. Okay. If you go to Google and you see the side effects of marijuana get people depressive, right? Suicidal thoughts, right? Lack of enthusiasm to get a job, the body is too relaxed, right? Lack of building the self up. They would not have money because most of the time they keep spending the money. I am living with one, my son, right? Soon as he have $1, he go buy a joint, right? And he smoke up. You can't save money, you can't see your way, you can't have a good job because when you do the drug test, you fail. And he's a good fabricator, right? Right? So that is a no-no in society. Yes, people who choose to do that. Look at the people who smoke marijuana. Look at the lifestyle, right? And suicidal thought, very aggressive behavior. Right? It feeds on your brain, on your fatty tissues of your body. People who smoke marijuana, who have children, the children have anger issues from a birth. So people need to be educated about the side effects of marijuana, right? And you guys should be playing that on your program. Google it and you will find it.
Thank you, caller. Oh boy. Yes, so the lines are open, eh? Go ahead, Lennox, by the time.
Yeah, very informative indeed. And that is what, expect of the callers, so to bring information that, of course, would benefit all and sundry, because after education is about behavioral change and the liberation of the person, and, of course, providing opportunities as well. As one teacher would have told me, in my formative years of being, of course, educated, is that, of course, reading, for example, will allow you to explore the whole world. And I wonder why. Well, of course, I now see that you don't have to be in Egypt to know Egypt exists, or the culture that prevails there, far less, of course, for the Middle East. And with, of course, modern technology. And I note at the same time Mr. Diego Martin, somebody called himself Diego Martin last night. Of course, there was an opening of a library by, of course, Robinson Regis in La Hocata. I think it was only yesterday. And, of course, the obsolescence, the Neanderthal type, caveman type approach to government. But, of course, we know that underneath all of that, why are you providing libraries today, when, of course, a laptop could, of course, do more than a library can, and you can carry it around with you and aid you, of course, in your intellectual, cognitive, and common sense development, rather than going to a physical building. And we have been saying that, Andy, a very long time now. But what we have observed, let me tell people that the plethora of libraries, the plethora of community centers in places where, of course, it will not be used, like in well-to-do communities. I see one being constructed in Trin City, for example. People are not going to go there to have a wedding, as the case may be, simply because these are people who can pay to go Hilton, as the case may be. But we understand that there's a nexus between, of course, those projects, whether it's library, whether it be community centers, whether it be, of course, swimming pools, whether it be not health centers. I don't think that will fit into the mix. But certainly, recreational ground. Recreational ground is the other one. All of that, there's a nexus between, of course, Noel Garcia and being head of UDCOT, and the Prime Minister having UDCOT with Noel Garcia under the Prime Ministerial wings. And understand that is where the nexus is. So it is about, of course, producing projects that can easily be subjected and amenable to kickbacks. Because after all, Balize House must be completed. So that is where that is. It's not that they don't know that is irrelevant, ocious, and, of course, not a good way to spend taxpayers' money. No, they know. But it is about, of course, self-aggrandizement and attempting, of course, to line their pockets of friends, of family, and, as, of course, Kamala Prasad Bisesa said, FFF. Friends, family, and finances. FFF. Remember that. Friends, family, and finances. FFF. And that is where, because there could be no logical reason that anybody in the world today could advance to say why it is that Rowley and they are focusing on the construction of libraries, as opposed to, of course, the provision of laptops that would be handed to individuals. And maybe you can't get much kickbacks with respect to that, because when you buy a large shipment of computers or laptops, that is it. But of course, you could build a library here, build a recreational ground there, or a pavilion, or some community centers in different parts of the country, ocious and irrelevant as they may be. They will stay there and be yellow, pink, and white elephants. But of course, the funds would have already been expended and spent. And of course, you don't know who it is going to. And usually, when you check it out, it's some kind of connection to the PNM. That is the enterprise I speak to of a criminal nature. So I take note, Mr. Diego Martin, of your castigation and your excoriating statements relating, of course, to that development, because it does not equate advancing Trinidad and Tobago. These youths will not go there. the National Library is not too far from where I am here on George Street. It's just a stone's throw on Abercrombie Street. And when you go there, very few persons utilize it simply because they walk with the entire library with them if they have a computer or, in this case, a laptop or even a smartphone. So we know that the intention of the advancing Trinidad and Tobago with these physical brick and mortar in initiatives, but it is all about some sinister and self-serving and what I consider to be pocket lining agenda of this government. Court increases, of course, award to ex-regiment cadet for unlawful discharge. In this case, Andy, is not your favorite judge, not your favorite judge, but nonetheless, I think it was a just outcome to a situation where someone was not discriminated against, but certainly was humiliated and was unjustly treated, and as a consequence, they went to court, and the judge, of course, made the ruling consequential of her finding that, of course, he should get a little more for what the system did to him. I'm talking about the army here. A boy 13 among 5 in Tobago court. But of course, the age of criminal behavior continues, of course, to decrease, meaning that they are getting younger and younger engaged in criminal behavior. And there are some things that can be done or can be experimented with in order, of course, to stop that rot. But certainly, it is not a good sign. I think I put that in my 1,000-page proposal when, of course, the Kamala Prasad Bissesa Crime Symposium, let us get it straight, the one in Barataria is different from that which was engaged in some months ago. One was, of course, to look at solutions with respect to crime and criminality and to have the ideas of the people. And while some of that will, of course, find its way into the manifesto of the UNC, the one in Barataria yesterday or day before was designed
the lines are open here, Trinidad and Tobago, by the meanwhile, but go ahead, Lennox Smith.
Was specifically to address, of course, the manifesto, conscious of the fact that an election is inevitable. So I hope I have made the distinction, even though, of course, one can overlap the other. And of course, at that meeting at Misiumova, at that leg of that crime symposium, I did in fact present two in a flash drive. I couldn't put all those pages together; it'd be too expensive and too cumbersome, too bulky. I did put it electronically on a flash drive and gave it to her, which was received.
1 minute, Lennox Smith. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, go ahead, caller. Sorry about that.
Yeah, hi, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Yes, and you're tuning the police. But I heard Toko this morning talking about the opposition leader. Mr. Toko, please have some eggs and bacon and ham for breakfast and stop this punching rum thing now. It is not doing you any good. You come here and all you do in the morning is criticize the opposition leader and the UNC. We don't need that. You understand? This woman is a woman with a vision. This is an intelligent woman, a good woman, a serious woman who realized that Trinidad and Tobago is in crisis. And there are lots of things here that need to be fixed. All the way up here, your Prime Minister mash up, she go come into fix, and with the grace of God and the support of the intelligent, good, ambitious people, it will be fixed. You understand? I have no problem with this woman dealing with these Venezuelans. All the people in this country, all you saw these people, at least they know themselves. These Venezuelan people just coming in here in all kind of boats, in all the swimming across, they coming in boat, they coming into Europe, and coming in this country, disrespecting my land, as if it's a labas, and everybody can walk in. It's true, only doing the citizens here all kind of thing, which is bad enough. and we have here to deal with, and all the problems to deal with. And these Venezuelans, Tiana, charity begins at home, and Camila Prasad says she's going to deal with them. She's a woman. She knows she's a kind one. She's not going to just pick up people and put them back. But they have the ones who shouldn't be here in the first place. You understand? And I want to tell this Sophia Leon, who is an activist, how all lawyers have mouth. Soon as Camila Prasad decides to make a statement about anything, everybody can jump in and talk into it. It is irresponsible. It is shocking. What the hell so irresponsible and so shocking when she says she's going to deport all these people that had no right to be here in the first place? You understand? Because we make here a labas for 9 years, no respect, no discipline, no law and order. All you want it to continue. But let me tell all you this now. Who vex the vex? All who breaking the law, all who here illegally, all who here shouldn't be here that Young and Rowdy been here, they're going to go back. You understand? They're going to go back when the hell they come from. Because you know what? We have our own problems here to fix, our own situations to deal with. And it is so difficult. And you can't handle it. But you're bringing these people coming in here, running in here, swimming in here, and want to take over. And they have no respect, you know. They have no respect. You understand? As everywhere is have immigrants, the legal ones, the ones who are supposed to be here, or whoever, whatever is working. But I'm listening to a program the other day where they say 90% of the Venezuelans in this country are illegal. So what we must do? So that is not a labas. Yeah? Rowdy May and the PNM make all you feel so, but it's not a labas. And when Camila Prasad says that, she's going to fix it and send all of them back where they come from. You understand? So you, Miss Leon, if you want, you can take all of them by you. You understand? And then this other fast, ugly boy head was a vex this morning, you know, going to come at this. I want to know, I want Robinson Regis to tell me exactly who she's talking about or what she's talking about when she says, she's going to take her money, or you can take all your money, or your custom taking, teaching, all kind of thing. And going to say, those who has stolen from the public coffers. If you have stolen from the public coffers, you don't need an increase. Well, guess what? None of all in the PNM need an increase. None. Yeah? And you don't need it. What you had, what about the money you had in the brown paper bag? Or you have all of that, or you don't need a number one, or you are non-performers, or you don't need, or you deserve no money. Because if you had to appraise all you, everybody getting a zero. Right? So you need no increase. You stand up there with a straight face and talking about if you're stolen. Well, the only people who still you have to be talking about yourself and your colleagues. You understand? But you're out of place self. You understand? But the point is that is to tell all you. The poor man can't buy a bread. They can't pay their light bill. They can't pay their mortgage. They can't pay for their car. They can't buy things in the grocery. But you sign up with your boy head self and telling people about if they have stolen from the coffer to do. You need an increase to do what? What you and all you're doing to get more money. As far as I'm concerned, the money all you're getting is too much. Or you shouldn't be getting that now because all you're doing nothing. Or you have Trinidad in a mess. The economy in a mess. Crime in a mess. The hospital in a mess. Education in a mess. Everything in a mess. That is what all you want more money for all that to continue. But let me tell you this now. Enough is enough, you understand? And you see Camila Prasad, etc. That woman is going to, with the grace of God and the help of the good people, she's going to fix this country. It ain't going to be easy, but it will fix. And so all you let me tell you now, get off the woman's case, you understand? What she said, it is right, and any good, sensible, thinking person will agree that she has a task on her hand, but she has the support of the people out here, and it will be done. All you talk about the mess Rowdy have things in this country. Talk about all that Rowdy saying, all that Imbert saying, all of these non-performance destroyers saying, and leave the woman alone. So fellas, things will be fixed. Things will be fixed, you understand? So let us just go on and continue supporting and praying, and all the haters, all you continue hating, you understand? Because you put all your digging for other people, all you're going to fall in it. God is good, we are going to rise, and this country will come back. I have the faith. It will be a task, but it's going to come back to the way it used to be, and the way we want it to be. Because you know why? Let me tell you this now. We want to live better. We have to live better. And by the grace of God and voting for the United National Congress, we will live better. Blessings, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Ms. Roadbrook.
bang, bang, bang.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
Nice. So Trinidad and Tobago, the lines are open. Time check, it's 6 minutes in the hour of 8 o'clock or 8 o'clock. And you listen to the Ground Report. Yours truly, the Pitbull of radio, Lennox Smith in studio. And most likely joining us a little later on is none other than Mikey K, the Mighty K. The lines are open. Tell us, but meanwhile we are waiting for calls because I want to play no voice notes yet. We'll play that in a little bit. What else it have there on the front burner? Or what's going on in the region?
Two more cops beat robbery. Sorry. Robbery much in my mind because of Rowley and the kind of robbing and larcenous behavior over the last 9 years so far. But of course, the two more cops beat bribery charges. I didn't get a chance to read this one. Maybe I should take a look at it and see what it is saying. Two more cops beat bribery charges, and of course, the two remaining police officers accused of accepting $30,000 bribe to help to halt the prosecution of a businessman have been cleared of the charges against them. On November 25th, which was 2 days ago, a High Court Master Shara De Silva dismissed the misbehavior charges against Karen Morange and Nicholas Raj Huba, citing insufficient evidence. Attorney Darren Mitchell represented the officers. Prosecutors Siobhan Norega and Kern Young advocated for the state, but they couldn't present any evidence, insufficient evidence. The ruling concludes legal proceedings against all officers implicated in the case. So there was an outstanding implication of misbehavior in public office. So I don't know how that stands with, of course, the recharging of these officers. They would have been charged for that in addition to misbehavior in public office. So let's see how that pans out. As I made my point already earlier, and because the matter is sub judice, I don't want to, of course.
Nice. Now, one minute. Go ahead, caller. Pleasant good morning to you.
Go ahead, caller.
Morning.
Yes, go ahead.
Calling from London, very handy way.
Oh, Donny, a pleasant good morning to you, my brother.
Long time. Andy and I listening heavy and see what they in the evening. They bring out some information concerning the kind of money this PNM government borrow by any kind of loan. And you know, we're in a real frightening situation, because I think the last loan paying back in either 2042 or 2046. We still have a whole year to go on or with this PNM government. So you know what loan again they can take. Let me just imagine if these fellas and win back the next general election. You know the kind of debt they're going to put this country in again, by? The kind of loan them going to take again, by? That for we grandchildren and them to pay by Andy, and this PNM sickle and I'm not seeing that. Right now they don't put the country in debt until 2046. It's still our next year to go. And what about if they do come back there, why? We go be paying loan until quite 2050, 2060 going up the road. That's what I call to say, why Andy, why? Yeah, boy, take care.
Yeah, that is a disquieting thing, Andy. And of course, my considered opinion on this matter is that there ought to have been a retroactive ground report, because the ground report was around in those days. Because of course last night I played what Ganga Singh said as what the UNC inherited in 2010 from a PNM again, over $70 billion a day in loans and debts that they had to address. Kamla Prasad Bisasa, they went, approached the task with professionalism, and of course they emerged to be very successful. But of course, Rowley only complained, especially when he heard that the public servants were given an increase deservingly under Kamala Prasad Bisesa, but he had the task of paying it. But he was hopping mad. But we know why, because of course he has not been able to expand the economy in any way at all in order to accommodate the increase in expenditure. Because clearly, whether you like it or not, it is a foregone conclusion that when of course a country grows in terms of population size, etc., your expenditure will increase. No different to your family. But of course, Rowley and they wanted, of course, to remain the same and wishfully believe that they don't have to do anything but go and borrow, as they have. And over 90 billion US, of course, is now on the cards. And of course, we have something like 90% debt to GDP, which of course is a terrible state. And the reserves that they met, that Kamala Prasad Bisesa left in 2015, some over $10 billion is now vacillating around $4 billion, and therefore putting us closer and closer to the IMF. So they could say what they want, and then of course have the audacity to tell us that wait until 2027 to get some kind of respite, while of course they pile on because of their incompetence and their profligacy and their inability to manage. They then tell us, of course, still be saddled with property tax and increases in electricity rates as water rates and anything they could put their hand on, including, of course, what is considered to be online taxes as well, in order to, of course, try to put the pieces together that they, like Humpty Dumpty, have destroyed and fragmented Trinidad and Tobago. So we know who they are, and the population has a responsibility, in spite of the sycophantic attempt by apologists and those who believe that somehow their future is anchored in the PNM. Personally, without considering, of course, the general good of Trinidad and Tobago. But as rain falls on everybody's house top, well, we have a duty and responsibility, whether they like it or not. We have a duty as well to, of course, the majority of us, to tell those minuscule and diminishing individuals in terms of numbers who still are supporting, of course, the PNM, that we are going to work on your behalf as well, because you will benefit as well. After all, when rain falls, it doesn't fall on one man's house top, and the economy and the politics is such that when Kamala Prasad Bisesa wins and the UNC is in charge, well then of course you too will benefit, just as rain falls on everybody's house top, whether they like it or not. Yes, so those are
so the lines are open, Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. Don't forget, I'm gonna give you all the numbers to call by the time, but meanwhile, I'll shoot the Pitbull Radio just doing some blasting out. Let me say welcome to the Dial the Caribbean. Welcome to each and every one of you that are locked on to us. Okay. So let me say pleasant good morning to those of you that are locked on to us on Real Media TT Facebook, Real Media TT YouTube, Corridor Transformation, and all the various platforms. A pleasant good morning to you. The lines are open, but go ahead, by the meanwhile, Lennox Smith.
Yes, indeed. So I want to make it very, very, very clear, pellucid, that we are about, of course, making certain, and it is not about preference for preference sake. Understand that. It is preference based on analyses, based on rationality, based on common sense. And of course, what we have seen among those who are defensive of the PNM is that, of course, common sense is not as common as one would have think it is. And in spite of the circumstance that they would say, for example, it is asinine, frankly, and as I said last night, I think I better say it here again, I don't think it is too offensive, that, of course, those persons who continue, particularly in the Laventille area, to be settled for abuse, and, of course, saying that you prefer to suffer under some amorphous, some non-existent black skin and the texture of hair. I want to tell you, you have more belly than a kobo. Yes, I said it last night, and I think I can say it as well. I don't think it is too offensive, having regard, of course, if it at least awaken people's consciousness. So whether you feel offensive.
Hold 1 minute, Lennox Smith. Go ahead, caller. Morning to you.
Go ahead, caller.
Andy for Grandy and Grandy for Andy. And you see why now? We have to get all observers for the 2025 general election from the Qatar and not too much from the Caribbean. Andy, Lennox, Mikey, all the technical staff, workers' rights platform, guy on the channel, and Corridor Transformation channel. Welcome back. And they're going to try to stop we. We never worry yet. And to all the listeners, share the live. To all who might not understand each other, we love each other. So Andy, I would like to borrow some of your airtime. So my first call is to ask all the generous listeners if they could donate to the Shorter Baptist Little Toy Drive. We appreciate it in Jesus' name. We begging to make put some smiles on some children's face, because you see that in there and Rowley, because he boxed up by he run away a thief of our treasury through borrowing. They borrow exorbitant amounts, and when it reached to the parliament, Bridget and he said George shut it down for debate and proper accountability. And if one can recall that India had spoken for over 4-point-something hours in the last budget just to hoodwink and move the other mind, and they understand what he say, that's what he did with the parliament. Just talk, and he never present the figures to the people with each ministry, what is their allocation, how much they spend. And yet still, if people feel that all what he borrowed for infrastructure and he put it in different ministries to do goods and services for the people, for the last 9 years, we haven't seen the delivery of those money to the people and the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So now, when we go down the road, and again, one has to ask themselves, the internal borrowing in all the small, youngest bank and then what now, and junior banks would pop up. Then the road shows and the raising of funds. Remember them bonds and then carry a high interest rate of US. So when you check it, if only listen to the UNC on a Sunday morning, and only go to the UNC platform app and listen, and what Andy and Lennox will be talking about the borrowing and not the expenditure, all will understand that the money where it comes from and it's not reaching the people. So when you listen to the Finance Joint Select Committee and we're asking them to account for it, and he said, George, giving them protection, just like, for example, national security had $7 billion near to spend for the last fiscal year. Where is the fire trucks? Where is the Coast Guard vessels? Where is the salary? Because that does include the expenditure for the ministry. Check all the police, the army, immigration, and all who fall under national security support. Look where it is. So let's see whether the borrow is up to $500 billion disappear, and nothing for we the people. And we as a people have to understand now that our finances, any woman give birth to a child now, they are coming to pay debt, not to receive a better life. So if it's good that the other program highlight and show what is on the books, and they find out what on the books. Listen to what the ground report and the corridor translation they tell you what only know what they had secretly and put through the ministries and them. So the unions and them, and the workers once again will be left like dogs and cap in hand begging. The senior citizens is right now they're vulnerable. They have something and yet they don't have it because there's only 2 weeks of money to run the cell for a month. So that's unfamiliar. And then the sycophants and them will say the PNM is working in their favor. Which favor they're working in? Strawberry? But I don't feel we as a people are getting the message the right way. And it's time we start coming out and united and talk with a different tone. That yes, that we ID card and we village group and we check the list and we check and see how much and we ask for the preliminary list to start checking it. So fellas, keep up the good work and keep telling them about they see plenty people forget about the Bank of Barbuda and the first citizen shares. They $75 million disappeared, but have a nice day.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Oh boy. So the lines are open at Trinidad and Tobago. The numbers to call 225-6644, 225-6644, or 239-5120, 239-5120. Or give us a WhatsApp call at 366-3053, 366-3053.
Maybe it's a good time to let the population know, the listenership know, that of course we have put together something under the Freedom of Information Act to find out how much monies that were actually borrowed, where it came from, what was expended, and of course other areas of national concern having regard, of course, the contemporary or the current disquiet among the population. So it will just add to either what we know or we may discover as a consequence of using that mechanism that is available to us as a media entity to of course better inform and to generate a high degree of accuracy. You see, we are
1 minute there. Morning caller.
Good morning.
Go ahead, caller.
Andy.
Go ahead. I'll finish it.
And all who listen, Andy, when you buy a cell phone, right? And you want to know how the cell phone is operating. And you go on settings, and on settings you see, or you look at the screen and you see all the different apps, and the apps telling you all what the phone contains. And if you want to know about the phone, you go into settings and you go and you find out all the apps, and all the apps is an interface of how you interact with the phone. Now look at something, right? I was saying this because I want to put a point across. Everybody is entitled to an opinion. You have no control over their opinion, what they see and what they say. You have some people you will put 10 people to stand up and look at a picture, and if you ask 10 people what they see about the picture, all of them will be a different version of what they see. That is a mentality. Some people have a contracting brain and some people have an expanding brain. Some people can only see certain things and some people can see more than what them can see. You understand? So that's the world we're living in. And the ground report is like an organism, it's growing. When I mean it's growing, it's taking input from all different sides, analyzing it, computerizing it, and whatever you want to say, and putting it back out there for people to reason on. Right? Logic, facts, and reasons. Now, we're moving on again. When Ms. Bissessa say anything about this country, right? Certain people does have a reaction to it, right? Ms. Bissessa, right? I standing up now. Ms. Bissessa is a born Trinidadian. She entitled to say what she wants about this country. She's a citizen by birth. Rowley is not a citizen by birth. He's from Tobago. I don't care what they say. Right? He's not a Trinidadian. And you see what's going on with Tobago. They want to get the freedom and the independence from Trinidad. Right? From Bogie. So when Ms. Bissessa say something about Trinidad, because she was a prime minister, right? And she was a better prime minister than Rowley, in all forms and fashion. And when she says something and it offends people, who it offend? The whole of that Port of Spain. Now, I'm saying anything to offend anybody, right? It's the truth.
50% of them is from the outside the Caribbean country. Where William bring inside here, and them parents and from was migrants, and they come here and they multiply and they live in there and they support the PNM, right? So when they will support migrants, and if you look at from the Caribbean River coming back, most of the people on this side of the Caribbean River is born Trinidadian. Most of them on that side, you can't say they're born Trinidadian because them parents come from some other country, right? That's what William bring down here. Okay, we don't have that. It's one country, one people. All the seal. Let us say, all the seal what this government doing to this country, right? When the woman turn up and talk and tell you, well, listen, this is she opinion, this is she vision. We shouldn't be going this way, we should be going that way, right? She was a prime minister, she has experience, she's seen where the country going, and she know where the country is supposed to be going. And she gives you opinion. Some people have a problem with that. You can't stop that. People will have problems. You understand? There are those who want to go straight and who want to go into the future in the right way, and there are those who just want to bring down and tear down and separate, right? And those people, you can't change them. They come just like the same thing about the Prime Minister. He can't change. You understand? That's in nature to destroy. Look at it. You can see who much evidence you want to see what's going on in this country. There's plenty things by Andy. You understand? When I say people living in a matrix, you understand? The matrix had them like that. When I mean like that, everything in the cell phone, right, is an app, an application, and an interface to connect with the phone. The same thing when you go to school. You'll be programmed to fit a certain job, right? You'll be programmed to live in the community. You'll be programmed to accept the government. You'll be programmed to select a government. All them things is like application. You'll be programmed to. But if you can't see that and come out of that and be free, you have to be free from that to make proper decision, right? Okay, moving away from that. We in Trinidad, we have our own Kalalu, you know, right? But there's also a bigger thing going on in the outside world. Because I think looking at a close at picture of what's going on in Ukraine, right? And we hoping that Biden don't send no nuclear bomb into Ukraine to shoot it into Russia. Right? Right now they have a petition with 20 million people signing to stop Biden from sending any nuclear into Ukraine. Right? So while we fighting here with smaller issues, we have a bigger issue going on outside there. We don't know how we're going to turn out. Right? The last thing Ukraine sent about 8 missiles into Russia. Right? Russia going to respond. We don't know how they're going to respond. And the countries where the missile come from, how are you going to respond to that? So yes, we have problems in Trinidad, but there's also bigger issue in the world. You understand? So we can just get tired with what's happening here. We have to also look at what's going on outside the world because we depend on the outside world. Look at what's going on in the Middle East with the shipment and the Houthis and the Yemen, them bombing down shipping. It's like we coming into the port and taking things and sending cargo high, sky high. Shipment that was for $1,400 going to $5,000 and they're going to affect trade. So things is happening right around the world and it's affecting Trinidad, but we only focusing on what is happening here. You understand? And concerning the lady this morning, Miss Beulah, where she was talking about Kamala, right? She had some genuine points. I'm not criticizing the woman, right? And now is not time to really to lay that around because you see the government. You gotta be on the alert with them. He could call us, he could tell the UNC people and call election tomorrow and them are ready. You have to be ready and prepare for heat. And so any minute he call election, you're not ready. Look, my area here, right? Rudy is the counselor for the side. I don't see Rudy, I don't hear from Rudy, I don't know Rudy existed. Right? And you talking about we have an election coming up just now. You're supposed to be beating the pan, brother. Come outside here, get your people. You know this is a same seat. This is a USCC. Nobody are coming here to win that. But don't take that for granted. Right? The same thing in the marginal seat. You have to go and work them seat on them. Don't feel your Monday night forum is the only thing going to win it. You have to be outside there. Listen to the people. Talk to them. Meet them. You understand? Keep them meeting. Keep them cottage meeting. Listen, man. I can talk, you know. You see, Pandey? I work with Pandey. When Pandey was the president of the Sugar General Workers Trade Union, I went in bargaining unit with Pandey. Pandey now want to talk. You understand? Pandey had a brain. He had economical brain and because he have a lawyer. Right? I work with Pandey. I could tell you about Pandey. I work with Maharaj. I can tell you about my, I went and see Kamla personally when I wanted my daughter to get a transfer. She helped me. You understand? So, I telling you what people tell me. I telling you what I know. You understand? I mean, Pane Bella, one day, I went to court. And I was leaving the magistrate court to go to the high court. And me and he had a little chat. But the kind of things he tell me, I can't reveal that all day. But that does he say? You understand? So you can't hold on to these kind of things, but you have to move forward. You understand? Because the most important thing in this country here is to make a change. And you have to get rid of it. You cannot do things about that, because if we continue on this road, these immigrants are going to continue to have the range in their hand. And they're not seeing better. They don't want better. You understand? It's really people who want a betterment. So, like my contribution for today, so much you can say, but time number, you give a black chance. Okay, Andy, thanks.
The Ground Report with Mikey K, Andy Williams, and Lennox Smith.
You see what he explained there, Lennox Smith? That is what the people talking about Lennox Smith. That is all I could say. Yeah. I say no more.
I want to tell the caller, go to the top of the class, because of course he started, of course, with making the analogy about, of course, the modern technology, the intrusive technology of a cell phone, and of course how they interact with each other. I thought that was a splendid way of the reality of Trinidad and Tobago today, and of course he ended with, of course, people have their own style as to how to treat with things.
Go ahead, caller. A pleasant good morning to you.
Andy morning, I just put on my phone and listening to that fella talk just now. I had to call to congratulate that same guy just now. You see how we break down everything and talk about Ukraine and everything? That is why I told Lennox you have to listen. That is what that fella talk about. That fella informed with everything going on around the world, my brother. I love the way that fella speak just now. Enough respect to that guy. Bless.
Thank you very much for in caller.
Well, a good thing I didn't speak after this guy by commending the same caller. So, well said, and I'm glad for the endorsement.
You're glad for the endorsement?
Yes, he endorsed what I said of the guy. I commended him for the way how he made the analogy.
Yes. Nice. I wonder if all gone out, boy. I was doing some blasting here. So the lines are open. Morning caller, where you calling from and what's your contribution on the Ground Report this morning?
Good morning, Andy.
Good morning to you.
All right, Andy, I was trying to leave a voice note, but you ain't playing a voice note, so you forced me to call in. This call going to get a few people vexed. I don't care. So I listened to the town hall meeting. Everybody was saying it was a great meeting. Oh, let's elect Auntie Kamala, yada. Well, let's dig in a little deeper on what was discussed. He talked about addressing crime, putting ankle bracelets on criminals, rehab, some lady that got killed, Mr. Curtis that got into rehab and is now back on drugs, etc. A lot of finger pointing and blame. I know P&M did this, yada. Typical political banter. Every Trinidadian should know by now that the root cause of crime is lack of economic opportunity. When you close Petrotrin, you will have a spike in crime. If you put scrap iron workers out of work, you will have a spike in crime. If you close the steel mill, you will have an increase in crime. So as a political party that wants to come into the new government, I didn't see any solutions offered on the increase in rising crime that is clearly caused by the government closing the above-mentioned industries. A new party coming in should be telling the people how they're going to generate new jobs. What industries are you going to nationalize? Not how they're going to lock up people who you forced to take the wrong path because of policies that you've set as a government. I think that addressing crime by putting bracelets on black men are further taking advantage of disadvantaged people that you put in that position, while if it giving other citizens the facade that you're doing something to fix the crime problem. I go and have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Next caller. Oh boy. I have a lot of calls, man. Yeah. Go ahead, caller. Good morning to you. Where are you calling from and what's your contribution on the ground report this morning?
Good morning to you, Mr. Andy Smith and Mikey K. Yes, what I'll say this morning, although I as a man is sitting here, I know everything what's going on in the outside world, right? I can't do nothing about it. I can't do nothing about what happening in Russia. I can't do nothing what happening in the Middle East. You know how much our boss didn't want Trump to win in Trinidad? We can't just do nothing about it, right? So there's a lot of things outside there happening that we have no see. It doesn't mean to say that we know what's going on. We know what's going on, right? But we have to think about Trinidad the most because here we live in. Because listen something. Watch how many years that the ABC have these constituencies how they want it. For instance, Port of Spain. You could tell from George Street to Rising Road. Just check how much seat they have. Right? You look at Diego Martin, it's 3 down there and 4 in the Port of Spain area. That propel PNM into this. What are we doing about that as a people? These is the things that we have to look at to try to make our life better. Because so long things like that happen here, and we live in here and we can't do nothing about it, we can only talk and talk and talk and talk, is when these people decide to make a change in these areas, changes does come. Just like when it happened in 1986. Do you understand? And when they say we're 33 to 3, because some of these people decide to make changes. Now, when we look at the marginal seats, first of all, we have to understand what is marginal. Everybody is marginal, but what it is. What does create that kind of situation? And the situation is some areas like these does vote on little policies, not like how the sycophant might be done in the south and in the north. Right? So we just have to look at what's happening with our people. And if we can really even come out and even match against wrong, we just have to take it. And if the PNM right now decide to take the money, it's because they might be telling themselves they're going to lose the election. That's why they might take that money. But if they're telling themselves they could win this election, they're going to take no money, brother. That's all my contribution this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. All of the lines are open, The lines are open. Let's hear. What says though? What's your contribution on the ground report this morning? Yep. Lennox, what else you have there for us in the headliners?
Well, yes, well, of course, several pieces. We have, of course, the health minister on dengue deaths. Don't politicize public health matters. Well, of course, you could have more politicization of it during COVID than any other time. And boy, did they capitalize on that. Even all now, they're saying, of course, when the situation of these crevices or these pit holes, I ain't call it potholes, they're pit holes in the roads were a national issue. You already end up saying, well, look, he was too busy, of course, saving Trinidad and Tobago from COVID, so he couldn't focus on them pit holes that emerged due to neglect. And even when, of course, a special company was established for addressing that matter, correcting the situation, it quickly, of course, floundered and failed because of corruption that seemed to have engulfed that particular entity. So, and therefore the potholes continues, of course, to plague Trinidad and Tobago. But that point I'm making here is that
hold 1 minute, caller.
COVID was politicized for that reason. Go ahead.
Go ahead, caller. Morning.
Good morning. Diego Martin inside again. Morning, Mikey K. Morning, Andy for Grandia. Morning, Lennox. A couple of issues. First of all, I saw the utterances of Terence the Terrible, blaming about the UNC and others interfering and giving wrong information about the spread of dengue. But I want to tell him, he and his government has mismanaged all of these epidemics. Let's go back to COVID, and let's go back to Moody visit to Guyana. When Moody visit Guyana, they offer several honors to him. I think 3 countries gave him the highest honor the country could possibly give to somebody out of the CARICOM and a leader of a country. And you know why they gave him that? Because his diplomacy with respect to vaccine, and it was called the vaccine matrix. Everybody remember that. So they were so happy that they got free vaccine to save the lives of their citizens. What we do in Trinidad, we had a fellow they called KCR, refused that, and what that resulted in, many of our citizens who could have been saved have gone to the great beyond because Terence the Terrible, etc., and his government managed COVID badly. And it's the same thing we seen with dengue. He want to argue that it is not dirty water, it is clean water, and they're spreading wrong information. He has to understand a debt is a debt. He has to shoulder the responsibility. He is the part of the government that is continued to do the blame game, and that is so sad that he not sharing a set of tears for the people who dying from dengue and yellow fever, etc. The other issue I want to think, and upon the current government for leadership, 2 significant leaders in the CARICOM, Santoki and Irfan Ali. One decided the benefits of the oil revenue will be shared equally, and he given $100,000 for each citizen in Guyana, right? Santoki from Suriname have a similar sort of thing, $750 US in a particular arrangement, so that each citizen going to benefit from the future oil revenues. So everybody is participating, everybody in those 2 countries is participating with the wealth of the country. What Rowley and them did, absolutely nothing. They taxed it. What the previous government did, they said no removal of the petrol subsidy. So that is another form of sharing the wealth through not increasing the subsidy and taxes, so each of the citizens benefit. What we're seeing in Trinidad now, friends and family of the PNM basically abusing the treasury. I hear in Balmati, we know who's Balmati. She said if they pass it in the SRC in Parliament, she don't mind getting an increase. So that signals to me what in her mind. She ain't telling us. She telling us of certain people misappropriate funds and things and things. But we actually, and she come and tell me that the $140,000, it might be more. Eh? Remember, she a part smart. We only hear was 147. She haven't closed all that. Look how they giving the friends and the family taxpayers money. It's our fella named a scene called Gilbertson. That's how they just call him, Gilbertson. $9 million for defending a wrongdoing, a mismanagement at Paris. It cost 4 lives. So you see how they just work it? 4 lives equates to $9 million for them friends and their family, but nothing to the people and family who died. That is what we have to confront with. A greedy government, a selfish government who doesn't care for the average citizen. And the only thing, because we're not going to march like with Sapo. Remember KCR match with Seppo and those people to rile up the pace, and it eventually ended up in a coup. We don't want to do that. We want to civilly remove them from office with our fingers when it is due. Those people have to be punished by the citizens of Trinidad and also by extension Karma. Karma will give them the just due when they lie to the people, because the man lie in Parliament and email gate, and he continues to lie. He went to Samoa in the Commonwealth. He had come out and tell us what benefits he bring back for Trinidad. He went to see Moody. He had tell us what benefits he bring back for Trinidad, but he hide. He's in shame. All those leaders have a different mindset. They basically embrace Moody, embrace him with his vaccinatory. They give him the highest honor. We have a pipsqueak as Prime Minister who shy away from that because he embarrassed. He shows how selfish he is, and he shows how poor leadership he has. I'm going to have a nice morning.
Thank you very much. Next caller. Oh boy, the lines are open. The lines are open. Go ahead, caller.
Morning, gentlemen. How are you guys going, man? Calling from the Baratpur.
Okay.
Gentlemen, I a man I like magic and illusions and all these kind of thing. Because after I go to a show and I look at the magic and the illusion, I try to figure out how they come up with that. And be able to dismiss it. Because nobody can tell me magic real and illusions real. I know there's a trick behind it, and you can't fall for it. So I ain't going home and say, that man make the car disappear and he change the $100 thing. Rowley had to go down as the greatest illusionist in history. Because for 5 years, Rowley stayed in opposition and create an illusion and had a set of dotish people, like the man from Bamboo like to talk and open his mouth with his dotish self, and make them believe that, hear what, the UNC government, Kamala government, thief out all the money. She creating hardship for the people. She are doing nothing for the country, and all they're doing is thieving, and the country is in such a bad state. So he created that illusion. The sycophants and the weak-minded now, who wouldn't really open their eyes and see what is really taking place and understand what has really been done for that 5 years period that she was in government, fall for it, and they supported him. They run with all kind of dotishness and protesting on the streets every Monday morning. Even people within the own party fall for that illusion because their mind weak and they can't think for themselves. They always have somebody thinking and doing things for themselves. Went along with that. And now that Rowley come and in government, the illusion that he had people believe in when he was in opposition, he created it now. And you're living it real and feeling the pain. And nobody ain't realized that yet. The few that realize it coming out and trying to say, hey, we had enough. We live it for 10 years, and the illusion that was created in the 5 years when Rowley was in government was just an illusion. Now, look, he bring that illusion to reality. They borrow money, so much money that I don't know if this country could ever pay back that. And definitely, who could say what they want? What government could come into office? We going to face IMF, because to start back this country rolling, let me say we had to start back Petrotrin and thing, to get back market for we products and thing, that will take a while. That will take a real negotiating. To start back any kind of agriculture to generate foreign revenue, that will take a real effort. To bring back tourism into this country, when I talk tourism, I mean leaving Trinidad and going to Tobago. I'm talking about bringing the white-skinned people to spend the US money and the European dollar in the country to build the economy. That will take you got to remove all that travel advisory that don't come to Trinidad, don't go to the city of Port of Spain and all kind of thing. That will take a lot of effort and finances. I hope the people in this country ready to bear the brunt of hardship. Now, what I'm saying is that I know a lot of people can say, well, better we leave PNM, let them deal with it. People who commit suicide just take the easy way out to run away from issues. They go leave the family. A man go have 3 children and a wife, and then he go commit suicide because he lost his work. Not thinking that, oh, hey, you have them to deal with after. So, I would say we ain't going to run away from it. We're going to join the bandwagon, and we're going to give the support that the government need to bring back this country to some sort of civilization that the youths and the children them coming up could have a place to live in rather than end up like in Haiti and Sudan and all these kind of places and things. So it's better we stand and we fight and we do what we have to do to bring back the country, all hands on board, or else we could say, okay, we give up, we commit suicide and let Rowley continue waiting and make it even worse than it is today. So I don't see having people marching and going and letting the population know who it is representing them and thing, contributing to anything. I want people to sit down in their own homes with their own family around their own table and ask yourself if we benefited as a country and as a citizen, any goodness come out from this 10 years of Rowley governance. And once you could understand that, the only decision you could come up into your mind and your thoughts is that, here what, PNM is not good for the country and is not good for the people of Trinidad and Tobago again. And even self, if it's not the UNC, it can't be back PNM. So, the only other option you have is the UNC. And they have a track record also, where the lady put it. Just imagine, if people didn't fall for that dotishness, that Rowley make everybody believe and thing, and all these systems that Kamala had set up for the country matured today, like the drilling school, the agriculture projects, all these aviation school and all these kind of things were set up. After COVID, we'd have people exporting workers from Trinidad and Tobago. Guyana would have been flooded with Trinidadians. Look, them ain't want no Trinidadian across it. In all over the world where it have a shortage of pilots and things, we would have that to supply. So we'd have been bringing in extra additional revenue. All the development with tourism and things, we'd have a cruise ship lining up here because Trinidad, when all them other islands getting battered with storm and things, and cruise ship had a dock and the people them can't come off the ship to go and spend their money. They had to remain and just pull off back again. We in the Caribbean, you could come here because we don't get battered by storm. You could come and you could spend the money. But these things, again, the citizens fall for the bone and they realize those are reflection they're looking at. Now they get the reality of it. So, people, all the think, sit down, look at your children in their eyes. We're going on there just now. The money Rowley